Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're starting a series on Pinball FX2. It may be a little difficult to see the two. It's this fire streak here. So, pinball, in a lot of ways, is about licenses. And there's kind of two major pinball video games out there. There is the pinball arcades that get licenses of actual pinball tables, and then there's Pinball FX2 that gets licenses of, you may know, there's like Portal or The Walking Dead or a lot of Star Wars or a lot of, what is this one, that's a football one, I think, soccer, a lot of Marvel, and then some South Park and some Alien vs. Predator and Alien Isolation. Big name things, but these tables actually aren't the tables that ever existed. So they can do crazy things, and they often feel a little bit different from what playing a regular pinball table would be. And even when you're playing Pinball Arcade, which prides itself on trying to recreate the exact experience of playing an actual pinball table, it still feels a little bit different. But then they also, Pinball FX throws in a lot of stuff here. So by default, if I can reach over here, you have several things. You have a super score, which is a score you get by the high scores of all the games you play. So the more of these you buy, which all of these are kind of available through DLC, so there are still things here that
Marvel's Women of Power
I need to buy if I want to buy them. Otherwise, you can still demo them for a few minutes. So you can actually play this game for free at the first part. There is a Pinball Wizard mode that is some more challenges, I believe. There is challenges, which your friends can set. If you have friends on Steam in particular, that's where that's going to come about. Pinball King is the best amongst your friends, and your local high score hasn't been set because I haven't played any of these games. Also, I think it's a little weird here. You can play this on a cabinet if you built like a screen in the form of an actual pinball and built your own virtual cabinet. You can do that, but you have to email them for the code because they won't just give it to you by default. I guess that's to stop people from taking this product and selling it as something bigger, even though people have gotten permission to do that. We're going to go through the core packs today, which are the 4 or 8, I think there's 2 core packs that were original pinball games that they released, but after that it was nothing else but licensed products, and that's all they have an interest in. I also want to point out that the anti-aliasing and reflections are not on by default, so you might want to turn that on. That's all we really need to do for setup. So now I can just play with a Xbox controller on my PC, and the core packs, some of these feel like what were in Pinball FX1, but I don't think they actually are. They are kind of the same games though. Let's see if I can Pasha here, and this one, and this one. It's kind of odd, the order here. I should probably just start with something else, but we'll start with Pasha. I know that's a core pack game, and my goal here is to, in every episode, play one pinball game for about an hour and just kind of show it off, and then you'll know what it's about. You could certainly play for some limited amount of time or a certain limited amount of score, and I haven't played pinball in a while, so this is probably going to be a little bit bad for me too. There's only 2 achievements here. Let's see, hit all of the hidden guardians of the mini playfield in Pasha, and open the book and complete all the tales of Pasha. I bet Pasha is somewhat like Aladdin and the 40 Thieves, And you could play hot seat, you could look at the leaderboards and all of that, but we really don't need to deal with any of that. You can adjust the difficulty of each table you bought in the operator's menu under. So if I want to make it a little bit easier on myself. Yes, this actually is just Aladdin and the 40 Thieves, basically, but it's not a complete one-to-one ripoff, it's a reimagining of some of that idea. So which button's the launch button, I wonder? Let's see. Can I figure out all the nudging? There we go. And then the right stick down launches.
The caravan's journey has begun.
And I lost
saved
immediately. That's the way to start, right there. Now this was originally on the 360, and it probably couldn't have handled the reflections, but my computer certainly can. So
the caravan arrived to a small town.
It might be a good idea to go play the comparison, since they are so similar. But
the Book of Tales has opened. Choose your story.
So we open the Book of Tales. So there's some things here that I immediately kind of dislike. And let's see if I can pause and change some things under the operator's menu. Nope, I can't. It's the way it appears looks wrong to me. I would like a different angle on this. Let's see. Display mode, full screen, window, borderless window, full screen. I don't want to change any of that. Is there a control that would change my view? Let's see. View mode C. Alright. C. See, that looks a little bit nicer. You have different views, but you have to figure it out. Let's see. That looks a little bit better. One of the things about pinball in general is you can never really recreate how it actually looks. Obviously I'm not going to do very well in this game, but we'll play several games. The ability to just
lead you to the next town.
Default move your head left and right to see what's going on and look, lean forward, lean back, all of that is totally missing from everything. Let's test something on the initials. If I put in my initials right now, will it memorize that for all future gameplay? Or do I have to sit here and do it over and over again, because that would be really annoying. So here's where it starts. This is your score. You get the score you made, your high score on this game, plus the high score of all other tables you played, plus your tournament bonus equals your super score, which my super score right now is at 0. The menus are kind of a mess here. Restart the game. And so you can kind of see how the
caravan's journey has begun.
Quickly kind of ran out of ideas on their own. Even at the beginning here, this is clearly an homage at the very least. It's not a pretty blatant ripoff of one of the most popular pinball games out there.
Saved.
But we are so short on pinball games that exist, and there's
Tails respects
practically
your effort.
no
You
arcades
got more time. Ball lost.
around at all. Actually playing pinball of any sort is kind of such a rarity. I can't really complain about things that are similar. I would more prefer actually playing real things, because the people who made the real things have just a little bit more experience on it, and they do things a little different.
Kickback activated.
So, the general trick on pinball is you probably want to hit the ball down the center lane. If not the direct center lane, the
Kickback activated.
then slightly on one of the ramps.
Defeat the guards.
So here's a mini game, and I believe there was an achievement for getting rid of all those, and I didn't do that, but oh well. The problem with trying to get achievements on Steam for a game like this, which is really a platform for DLC, and it makes no bones about it, they will just always release some new piece of DLC, and that new piece of DLC will then come with some new achievements, and then you'll never be at 100% of the achievements even if you try. So over there on the right, we let's see, I guess I'm just going with A because it doesn't remember. Over there on the right, it will constantly update you, particularly when you have friends. Like, you beat your friend's high score, you've done this, you've done that, you've beaten your high score. It really does an amazing job to encourage you to keep on playing.
Ball saved.
Which, if you're not particularly good at pinball, the encouragement to continue playing is very helpful. For a brief few months, I had the opportunity to pick up someone who worked at a movie theater, and they had pinballs in their arcade there, and so I would show up an hour early from when they were done and just play pinball the whole time, and it was quite fun. And actually, it took only about $1.50 for the entire hour because I would win so many free games. And often when I play pinball in the real world, because I am kind of good, I will play to the point of I'm just tired of playing this game after an hour, and just leave credits on the machine or give it to any kids running around saying, hey, you want to play pinball? This is free. And I once entered the tournament actually to win a pinball thing, but I was rather young at the time, and
Book of Tales has opened. Choose your story.
Really had room for a pinball machine. It's really just about getting in the groove. Although I find the Pinball FX tables typically are a little fat and stubby, squished down in a fashion that is a little bit unrealistic. This one is actually much more like a traditional pinball table than a lot of them. A lot of the licensed things are rather short. So there's my first multiplayer lock. I would like to potentially get a multiplayer in every recording I do, but no guarantee on that. These are the first time I've ever played these, and I mostly purchased this game for my own personal ownership and playing games when I wouldn't be recording. A lot of games I get, are just for coverage and I'll never play them again. Here they're doing a coin shuffle thing, and I'm gonna say it's in the middle, and it was
Next
on the
time,
left.
you must certainly win.
So that was a little puzzle, and I messed it up. Usually I don't lose on those. Wasn't paying enough attention, obviously. Now, you want to sometimes nudge the ball to stop it from falling directly down the center, because anytime it comes down fast towards that center, you're running a good risk of...
The Book of Tales respects your efforts. You got more time.
Like right there is a terrible way for the ball to fall. You want it to more come around the edges. Of course, you can always go on the side and lose that way too, but it's less likely. Nice little flipper sounds.
Hurry. Start a tale before the book closes.
I don't think I started a tail there. I'm trying to... I need to go, I think, over here to the right.
Better luck next time.
Hello?
Locked.
There's another ball locked. Getting put in here.
Hit the flashing ramps and orbits.
So, in multi-ball, you almost always can recover from losing a ball really early. But it's hard to keep 3 of them at the same time. Now, some pinball tables, a lot of them, will lose energy if you hit both wipers at the same time.
Amazing.
I'm not sure if this is replicating that or not. Also, it's kind of dangerous to do this because it actually makes the surface area where the ball can go in between the 2 paddles wider by just a little bit. Bounce back. So I'm still a multi-ball, but I did lose 1. But that makes it a little bit easier to control. Now, most pinball games, there's really no maximum score. There's the end of the multi-ball thing. You can kind of go on for as long as you want. I'm not sure if there really are any pinball machines that have like a kill screen where the numbers would run over. Usually they intentionally make the scores really, really high, and they love to say you got like 65 billion points. Often you'll get millions and millions of points for just doing one thing. Only once have I ever played a pinball where it was so obnoxiously large, the amount of score you were getting, that it got ridiculous. Usually big numbers are fun. Getting 1,000 points for just hitting one little thing.
Fantastic.
But all I'm really doing is keeping the ball in play too. It's not like I'm intentionally aiming for anything or trying to do anything. I don't know the basics of the games, and I won't. There are definitely modes and like rush modes and bonus modes and mini games and all of these things. I just have no idea what triggers them, what activates them,
All lost.
and all of that. When you hit left and right, you light up different lanes on the sides, and those lanes will light and unlight the right things, and when you match all of the lanes, you usually get a score multiplier. So if you're playing real strategy of pinball, you want that score multiplier at the maximum. So that would be a much bigger focus than what most players will play for. These little huts on the right are are bumpers.
Ball saved.
Shoot again. Sometimes when you
are lost.
launch
You must
balls,
find an oasis.
Oops, I messed up. So you could get a score multiplier that way. So that was a much better game there. I got 12 million, and for every million you get some super score. So that's why I was at 0 before, because I had gotten 600,000. And we'll just keep on moving forward. And so my intention is to do this series and play every table for about an hour, and
Caravan's journey
then
has begun.
whenever
The
I
caravan
have
arrived to a small town.
free time that I can't be recording other games or don't want to be
Ball saved.
recording other games, I'll have this as a backup thing that I can play for fun, because I really do love pinball. Even made up video game versions of pinball. They recently came out with another pinball game that was very strange in that it was story based and had a lot of things that really couldn't even classify as a real paintball game, but it was definitely an intriguing new attempt
The
at
lamp
doing
is
something new
fully
there.
charged with magic.
Like, I don't remember what it was
Nice
called,
shot.
but it came out in
Ball lost.
2016. I might check that out at some point.
Kick back.
I think part of the problem was
The caravan has been attacked.
because it was level based. After you beat the levels, then there's almost got that done.
The caravan arrived to a small town.
Where'd the ball go? Wow, that was a slow loop. Every time it takes that rail on the right, I think it's coming down the loop. Another ball walk for multi-ball. See, that far left ramp is a dangerous one to do. Usually the further the ramps are, they might come back in the middle and hurt you. Trying to get the right angle on these things can definitely be difficult. And I think that's multi-ball, isn't it? Nope, one more. Ideally, you want to get multi-ball every possible opportunity, because the jackpots and the super jackpots are usually in with that.
Multi-ball. Hit the flashing ramps and orbits.
Treasure found.
Wow.
Trying to keep these balls as far away from the bottom as possible.
Amazing.
Trying to get them up there, get that multiplayer. I just lost both of them. But I still have ball save. Now, next one I lose, I don't get back. So now it's about how many millions can we go? Now, part of the problem also with it constantly encouraging you on the right, the top right of the screen, when you get a better high score than what you've had before, is then it can also distract you in that process. And there kind of is a lot of stuff flashing on the screen at all times. certainly can strain your eyes because you're practically not blinking. Over there on the right in the middle of the screen, it's telling me what my score multiplier is. Right now I have a 6 times multiplier. I'd like to get it up to 8. It doesn't seem like there's a light there for a 10.
The caravan arrived to a small town.
You don't typically want to hold on to the flippers. You want to tap them.
The journey is complete. 5 million.
That's 5 million.
The Book of Tales has opened. Choose your story.
Now, doing a flip that goes up a ramp on the same side as you is usually not a good move. Like that kind of hit, not a good move to
Ball
take.
saved.
Which is a very high chance of messing up that.
Hurry. Start a tale before the book closes.
And see, I have not been doing good to start the books.
The Book of Tales respects your efforts. You got more time. The magic of true love protects you.
There you go, another ball saved. I don't know what I'm doing to deserve them being saved. This is kind of easy. See, I think there's a drop down over there on the right with the bumper, with the bumpers that Book of Tales is looking for you to lock into.
Ball lost.
And it may take hours and hours of progress to just find out all the things you need to do. But speaking of hours, do I want to play for an hour? Do I want to play for 30 minutes? It's been about 30 minutes and we've played
the caravan arrived
2 games.
to a small town. Ball saved.
The
I only
compass
want to play
leads you
one
to the
game.
next town.
Ball lost.
Because there's only so many of these. I recently was able to purchase a lot of these DLC things because they were 75% off, and frankly, I would personally say that's about the right time because you just don't know how much you're really gonna play these unless you know that you're a super fan of pinball games you've never seen before. There's a lot of opportunity to play these for free in its own internal demo mode, and paying like $5
The bazaar is open to all.
one table, because they may not be that expensive, but they may be like 99 cents per table. It certainly adds
The
up
lamp
for
is
all the
fully
different things
charged
they
with
have.
magic.
And certainly, if it's a Marvel, if it's a Disney
Come,
thing,
Effendi,
they
try your
charge you
luck.
more because of the license. Okay, we're trying to find the compass. Let's see if I can do it this time. Alright. Got it.
Yes, you have won. Come back tomorrow.
So, I imagine there's several collectibles that you were supposed to collect. That's kind of true for all video games, but, or a lot of them at least. I definitely have more experience playing Aladdin and the 40 Thieves.
The caravan arrived to a small town.
The real pinball version game that's like this, because particularly in Pinball Arcade they give you 5 achievements per, well, they give you 5 easy achievements, then they give you 5 expert achievements. I really don't like that that system actually. Here it's just two simple things. So if you were just trying to get them all, it would be easier in this game than Pinball Arcade. And Pinball Arcade sells you games separately for a little bit more expensive, but they make fewer of them, and they heavily focus on doing
Nice
quality
shot.
representations
Magic
of
of true
something
love
of the
protects
real
you.
game. So
Hurry up.
it's kind of more, if you're nostalgic for old pinball games, get Pinball Arcade. If you've already got Pinball Arcade, then it might be a good idea to also get this
The
game.
compass
They're
leads
really
you to
the
the
only
next
two
town.
options.
Free the captured princess.
Activate the magnets to keep the ball moving.
Alright. Oh, I screwed that up. Left flipper, right flipper is what you were supposed to use there. And so that's a sneak-in
The
shot.
cave is open.
So there's a couple sneak-in shots from this. So you'd want to get really good at this. That shot.
Defeat the guards.
Wow. It came all the way back and hit him that way.
The caravan arrived to a small town.
One of the things you never have happen
Riches are yours.
in these arcade versions though
No!
is
The giant snake! Run!
you almost never have the ball pop up and hit the glass because it's just not ever programmed to take any verticality in it. And if you've played enough
Book of Tales
real
has
world
opened.
pinball,
Choose
you
your
know that
story.
does on rare occasions happen. It just will shoot up and feels like it might hit you in the face, but don't worry, that glass is strong. Of course, you also don't have usually the problem of the ball getting stuck under some broken piece of bumper or other mechanical
Ball
equipment, or
Hurry.
which
Start
is a
before the
constant
book
problem
closes.
with pinball games
Ball
these
lost.
days is they take a ridiculous amount of upkeep. The light bulbs that they used to use don't really get sold or really expensive, so now people are replacing them with LEDs, so they're making modifications. The rubber bands, the bumpers, the play field has to be waxed. It is like owning a very expensive car where you have to wax and
Caravan's
wash
journey
it
has begun.
every week.
The caravan
or at least
arrived to a small town.
think you do. Except for on Pinball's case, you actually kind of do. I've often wanted to get one, but the amount of square footage it would take up, the amount of upkeep,
Ball saved.
I would have to be pretty filthy
The
rich to
compass
justify
leads you
it.
to the next town.
And I guess we could come up here and see there's like no... Here's the table guide. Like, you probably should have looked at this. Set your launcher power to, according to the state of the skill shot. Didn't even see that. Kickbacks by spelling Genie. Camel Caravan goes to all of these places. Light all the compass lamps to travel to desert from town to town. Beware, it's easy to get lost in the desert. Abandonments will pose a grave danger. Storytelling mode is done by hitting these spots. Bizarre video mode is done by hitting all these things. Elixir of Endless Life Multiball. Shoot the ball in the palace when no lamps are lit in front of it and break through the guards on the mini playfield. If you succeed, the multi-ball game starts. Search the palace rooms by hitting the flashing targets. Interesting. And we've gotten the magic lamp multi-ball. And the jackpots are all over here. And see, that's the kind of stuff I needed to see first at the game and didn't look at. A lot of lighting of lamps, a lot of hitting of targets.
The lamp is fully charged with magic.
It's kind of a shame we don't have.
Activated.
There isn't really an
You
Arabian
must find an
culture
oasis.
like this anymore, so future generations are gonna think we made up this whole culture because it's totally been destroyed and replaced by a different one. Much in the way that we don't have Greek cultures, ancient Greek cultures that are
Give me some
worshiping
water.
Zeus and
I
such.
can't hold on much longer.
It just becomes fantasy as time corrodes. So, like, he wants me to match that, and I don't know how you would match the skill
The
shot.
caravan arrived to a
Usually
small
when you
town.
skill shot something, you're aiming for a target to hit or something. Also, as far as table design goes, I am not a huge fan of the ones that always just start by
Ball
giving
saved.
the ball to the right hand
Kickback
flipper,
activated.
and there's nowhere else you can have the ball go. I much prefer it to have an opportunity to angle out and go up a ramp and hit a skill shot that way. It's just, that's a more dynamic way to start the game. There's certain games where you can lock up a multi-ball if you're really good from the launch, and so you can almost constantly set up a multi-ball play every single time if you're skilled enough, and pinball is about being a game of skill. It's kind of funny. This series is coming after I just tried to play 2 other simulators, and the only simulator game that I could have the patience for and actually play was a pinball simulator, because before this I tried to play Stardew Valley and just couldn't get
The
into it,
compass
even though
leads you to the
it looks like
next
it's
town.
a good game for people who are interested in playing a farming simulator adventure game. And then I tried to play City Skylines, and because of my setup I couldn't read any of the instructions and even play the game at all, because I have my TV on the wall 10 feet away from me like you would a console, and the text was just so small I couldn't read it. So City Simulator, Farming Simulator, both didn't work. Pinball Simulator does work. That score wasn't great, but you'll have your ups and downs here. And it was only taking about 10 minutes to play a game. We can still see, let's see, Operator's Manual. Let's try this. Welcome to the Operator's Manual for Pasha. Operator's menu lets you customize the table, test the lamps, flashes, consult statistics, and all that. Menu, utilities, adjustments. Leaderboard will only be available in factory settings. Factory adjustments, presets, extra adjustments. Alright, difficulty presetting. No. let's see. Factory adjustments. Presets. Install extra easy. So that's extra easy. Let's see what happens there. Bookkeeping. So there's several things here that you can mess with as far as that. Histogram, score histogram. Interesting. But it will not, your score will not be posted on the leaderboard. Fine. Let's see what extra easy is. It probably gives me like 5 balls, a lot of extra score or something.
The caravan's journey has begun.
There's only so much
arrived
this game
to a
can
small
do
town.
to be easy. It can give me more score, it can give me more attempts, but beyond that, there's not much it can change until,
Book of Tales
unless
has
it's
opened.
going to
Choose your story.
change the physics and sneakily change it so that I make shots I should have missed, which I don't think their engine has the capability to do. That would be very demanding. They probably spent a lot of effort to have them all feel like a smooth thing. And frankly, when I played this on Xbox 360, it kind of didn't even feel that smooth. It was a little jerky. Here it does smell smooth. And the Pinball FX1 was just a group of 4 games that it's kind of ridiculous they didn't ever release that as DLC.
Activated.
But they wanted to have this whole social interaction and the DLC integrating. The difference in time between releasing FX1 and FX2 was right when DLC was becoming big, and it makes a lot of sense in this game.
The compass leads you to the next town.
Constantly add to this game without having to resell the default stuff, which is great because you don't really need to resell the default engine. You can just patch the engine.
Activated.
And then all you need here, instead of having core engine designers working on or sitting around not working on the main part of the game, you can just pay a table designer and an artist to make another table. And even better, you can have the extra budget come in to license these big ticket things. Now, for example, if you wanted a Star Wars pinball game out there, Disney now, which they've said that they're out of making video games, would either have to make their own video
Tales has
game,
opened. Choose your story.
or they would have to make a actual pinball table and get Pinball Arcade to decide they wanted to do it, because they only do things that actually were real pinball games. And going that route certainly would probably give them a more realistic feeling pinball game, but it would be an incredibly expensive venture too. So it's no telling why people don't do that. So instead they can just come over to Zen Studios, the company that makes Pinball FX, and say, we'd like to license it out. And I'm sure Zen Studios has been asking them to license it anyways.
Nice shot.
And so then Disney doesn't have to spend any real effort, and they can just say, go ahead and make a bunch of Star Wars game pinball tables, and they do. And I imagine if Zen Studios does it right, they probably could make pinball tables without any artwork, or with just temporary artwork, and then
Fantastic.
try to license something and change the artwork. Because if this game, Pasha here, was, instead of being Arabian themed, was, say, alien themed, you really just have to change the art. You don't have to move any of the ramps. You don't have to, you would have to change the audio, but the art and the audio are the only things you'd have to change. You could have every single mini game, every single thing, you just have to write some storyline to it and explain it. You would be fighting against aliens instead of bandits. I'm still trying to figure out if an hour is right for one pinball table though. It's kind of a long amount of time. Maybe we'll go 45 minutes to just show a good feel of it. There's definitely elements here I have missed and won't show in practically any of the tables, almost certainly. Because it's pretty typical that if you get one shot, you'll stick to that one shot, and you have to, as you practice pinball, you have to start breaking yourself away. You have to start actually thinking about where you're aiming. It's the difference between playing billiards and just hitting the cue ball and hoping to sink a ball, and playing billiards and calling your shot and knowing which of the other balls on the table the cue ball will hit and which pocket it will go in. It's the same thought.
Defeat the guards!
Well, that didn't work.
Kickback activated. Marvelous.
I should get a lot better at hitting this lower right bumper area, and I'm really bad at that right now, I can tell. You almost never want to hit the kickbacks that are the bumpers that are slightly above the flippers. Those are usually not worth hitting, nor do they put you in a good position, because they have a tendency to bounce back and forth and just shoot the ball in crazy directions. And anytime you're losing control, you're in a dangerous spot where you may have the ball fall down one of the places it can fall and lose it.
The bazaar is open to all!
Pinball is really an amazing thing.
Fantastic.
You really have to go and look at
Try your luck.
the old wooden tables that barely had anything on them at all. It was just giant, wild. I haven't been paying attention. Oh well, let's save it. It's in the center.
Yes, you have won.
Like,
come back tomorrow.
The play fields on the old wooden tables are really, really empty, and they just had like nails in them, like pachinko pins, and it was a lot easier to lose
All lost.
than. And to see one of those games compared to what pinball is today it's kind of amazing how much stuff, how many toys, as they're called, get added. Any of the little action figures and things that aren't standard.
The caravan's journey has begun.
Standard to pinball in general.
The caravan
called
arrived
toys.
to a small town.
I should actually go back to default factory mode, shouldn't I? Operating mode. Yeah. Utilities, factory adjustments, and stuff. So no warning now, so now I can get back on the leaderboards. Not that I'm thinking I'll get
Ball saved.
Get the world high score or anything
The caravan
like that.
arrived
It's just
to a small town. Fantastic.
Kind of do want a Super Score. You kind of do want all this, particularly if you have friends that play.
Kickback activated.
Because then there's some real competition, some weekly challenges, some tournaments, everything you kind of would want to help you try to establish and maintain your involvement in a pinball loving community while still being relegated to play video game versions of pinball. There was another one that came out called the Williams Collection that was on the 360. And it had a nice
Choose your
selection of tables, some of which get
The Book of Tales respects
reproduced
your
in
effort.
pinball arcade,
You got more
but
time.
some of which I don't think did. Again, we're trying to hit the book.
Magnificent.
There we go, lost again. Now, when it actually wants you to hit specific
Start a
things,
tale before the book closes.
mostly I don't accomplish these things. I'm pretty bad at actually playing
Book of Tales
pinball
has closed.
in the way pinball wants you to play.
The
I'm just
compass
good at
leads you to the next town.
somewhat keeping
Hit
the
the guard.
ball in play. And so I'm trying to hit through all that. Almost made it that time. Book of Tales opens again. There's no genie in here, even though there's a lamp. Instead, there's a snake. Let's see, I think I locked them. Oh. Wow, immediately lost there. Wasn't even sure what I was doing.
Ball saved.
This is very generous, the ball saves. They're trying their very best to make a game here that keeps you in play. Because you can play certain pinball games and like lose all 3 balls in about 2 minutes and that's it. There goes your 50, 75 cents, $1.25, whatever it costs you if you could find a pinball game in an arcade. Most pinball machines will give you 5 plays
Tales
for
has opened. Choose your story.
$2, $2.50. So if you invest early, you're better
Nice
off.
shot.
Of course, you might get stuck playing a game you don't really like, but
Activated. Magnificent.
usually I'm alright with playing almost any pinball game for 5 games, even if it's not particularly the best. Sometimes you'll get ones that are broken, and that's more of a problem than anything else. It's
Start a tale
that
before the
particular
book
table is
closes.
broken, not the design. There was
Hit the
a
guard.
Family Guy pinball, and a real one. There is also a Family Guy licensed one in this game that I'll get around to, but there was a real one that wasn't laid out the best, in my opinion. It had this tiny miniature
The
Stewie
lamp is fully
pinball
charged with
where you played
magic.
with a much smaller like ball bearing in this much smaller version that took up a lot of the table, and there wasn't much else there. That the angles were really sharp and right up the
The caravan
center,
has been attacked.
if I remember correctly. So I played that a few times, and then I finally said, you know what, I am done with this. Darn it, I don't even know where the ball was going to come from. I need to figure out how that under table works. Trying to lock that ball.
The caravan arrives.
And the weird thing is, it's only taken me like 10 minutes to play a game. That's a bad thing. That means I'm not playing very well. But I figured it would take me 20 or 30 minutes to play one game.
Fantastic.
But that's fine. We'll just try to shoot for an hour every time.
The compass leads you to the next town.
There's a multiplayer.
Multi-ball. Hit the flashing ramps and orbits.
Treasure found!
Now, I bet I would get like a free game at 25 million, but since I guess technically all games are free games, and even if you did get your score limited, I think, on the demos, so you couldn't get a free game. I haven't heard that all too familiar clank, which is actually a plunger inside the machine designed just to hit the back of the machine and make a loud noise. It's there specifically to let the arcade owner know that the game just gave a free game to somebody. Because if the guy hears it too much, if he's greedy, he might come up there and harass you and go, hey, you're winning too many free games. And some of them are programmed not to give but 1 or 2 free games and 1 or 2 extra balls, or maybe none even if you really want to get greedy. Most arcade owners don't care though, because the truth of it is that there's really not long lines of people trying to play pinball, and getting a higher score might attract an audience and get more people to decide to play it later on. There we go, we get the compass. It seems like you just get the compass though. It doesn't seem like there's any other items. Usually there'd be like 6 different items there that set up. I would say a compass, a flying carpet, or a camel. Yep, lost again. Those flippers are smaller and they're so far apart. It would take some real skill or some real luckiness.
Small town. Fantastic.
And this caravan seems to just wander around the desert forever, which I guess if you're a caravan in the desert, that's what you would do. Wander around in circles, selling your goods, living your life. Keep selling and buying goods.
The lamp is fully charged with magic. The compass leads you to the next town.
All lost.
There we go. See, and we've been going an hour now. So our best score was 12 million, which gives us a super score of that. Let's exit to the main menu. Nope. There we go. So that's Pasha, and we've played exactly one game. So we can see what our super score here is for Pasha, which is really, really high. That's everyone's super score. So, excluding these first 2, who I figure are probably cheaters, and maybe even the next 6 might be cheaters too. Let's say number 10 here is 75,583. That's his super score, which the super score is in millions for this game. So 74,583,000,000 points. That seems a little unrealistic, doesn't it? Pinball Wizard. I'm not sure what the deal with that is. I wish they'd explain some of these a little bit more. Challenges, though. I have no friends. Pinball Kings. I need at least one friend. And local high scores are what we need to care about. So these AAA scores are all me, and that'll be who I just put in here. And I guess I could have looked at the description here too. Let's look at the tournaments. No tournaments are running at the moment. Interesting. The friends have not ranked on this leaderboard. Have not done that. Let's see, overall tournament, somebody's got 10 million, 10 million, then there's this huge jump to 6 million, then there's a huge jump to 3 million. Typically on leaderboards, when you see this, you can just go ahead and assume that the first 3 are cheating. I mean, that's a huge difference, and I'm not ranked on the leaderboard because apparently I can't play any tournaments. Maybe my firewall is stopping it. And achievements. Did we get any of them? No. Hit all the guardians in the hidden mini field in Pasha. Didn't do that. Open the book and complete all the tales. Didn't do that. I don't know if we completed any of the tales. And that's kind of the problem with pinball in general, is your mileage may vary, and you may actually only find in the ones you like 1 or 2 of these tables are actually fun, and the others are extra. So I wouldn't recommend people just buying all the DLC immediately, particularly since you can just do something like this and play as it is. Here's one I haven't purchased because it's one of the new ones.
All right, first day of my new summer job rocked. Our new little coffee shop goes well. This goes to the bank.
Isn't this Miss Marvel? She looks a little older.
It was a pretty good heist. Wow, a nice bonus. It's my lucky day.
Notice here, this is one of the newest tables, and it's just pure on
What was that?
cartoons and animation going
The
on here.
lockbox with our first day's cash. I have to get it back or the coffee shop is over.
Like full voice acting, full of this. And look at the table. A very empty play field in the middle with a lot of ramps, way too many ramps here, and a lot of like metal things that go up really high too. And so they've really gone crazy since what the original games they created, which very much tried to be realistic. This 100% not trying to be realistic. You will interact with Miss Marvel there. I think that's who that is. I'm sorry if it isn't. So she's just gonna stand there and
Shoot into this hole or hit that round.
and she's just gonna be there distracting you the whole time. And let's see. Like I can't change the thing while also playing. That is a pain. So just look at all the ramps here. Now I probably will still purchase all of them just because I'm a lunatic who likes to have all the DLC, and obviously that's.
You will get a huge
seems like
hug for this.
there's going to be a mission for each one of these characters, because down there it says Miss Marvel and Bombshell and Spider-Gwen and Hawkeye. Is Hawkeye a girl now? Squirrel Girl, American Chavez.
Not quite strong enough.
I didn't know Hawkeye was a girl. Interesting. I'm not a super fan of Marvel comics books. So this is very much just about shooting up. There's barely any targets, barely anything.
All's well that ends
A
well.
lot of flashing around, a lot of lights. This is certainly to appeal to little kids, and I'm not
Shoot
gonna
into this hole
play
or
a
hit
whole
that
game,
ramp.
But
Fist save
very
activated.
very
Flipper skill shot. Nice reflexes.
very few things there. So now here's the hard sales pitch. Buy the full table today and play with no limitations. New state-of-the-art physics model that surpasses anything available so far. Local and online leaderboards. Automatic in-game challenges against your friends and Team Wizard score. You kind of need friends. Own the pinball game operator's menu with custom settings in advanced play issues. So that's kind of the crux of it, though, is that playing this, they will just try and sell you more and more. And of course, after about 1 million or so, that would have stopped you and said you need to buy the game right now or it's just game over. So that would be terrible for me to review it. But we will see once we get into the Marvel things, which they've got a Marvel for every single character that's big, that they've gone really crazy with some of these tables. But I do want to hit the original core pack before I move further on to anything else. So that's it for this recording. As always, I end my episodes the same way. I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me even further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.